Welcome to Terry on Tuesday. For the first time ever, doing a video live because just need to let you know the week has been insane. I mean, I had a couple of hours out in the garden. Here's the garden. Look at that. There's the garden. A couple of hours out in the garden yesterday. It really needed to be done. It wasn't just like, oh, I'll just do gardening for fun. I've got tons of work on. I haven't had time to stop. Stuff has been piling up, you know, and people say take time off, and I take time off and just work piles up. So I had to do the garden. The place was getting a mess, and I've got to keep it in good nick, you know, for myself and for the landlord, etc. And I haven't had time to edit a video. I haven't had time to stop and chat. It's just Photoshop and food. That's all I'm doing, and a bit of sleep. So I thought I'd try going live this time. Now I know not a lot of people are going to be watching. By the looks of it, it's only Brian and David at the moment. But the majority of you are going to be watching this on the catch-up. Shame about that, because the good thing about live videos is the comments pop up and you can answer them, you know, live, which is cool. The advantage of editing stuff is that things make a lot more sense. But let's get into the talking of what I want to be doing. So I'm going to be doing a lot of dragging the camera around to show you stuff. Actually, let's spin it around if you don't want to see my ugly mug. Anyway, down on the kitchen table. See, problem with facing the facing that. There we go. Let's turn stuff around. Now I don't have a screen to look at, so I'll just see if we can sort this out so you can see roughly what's happening. Okay, how are we doing? Not too bad. Okay, as you can see, this is Marvin's head. What have I been doing recently? Apart from being careless with it, I've put a very nasty scratch on top of his head there. It's my fault for not lacquering it in time, but I am going to give it another bit of a sand and a clean up around the mouth and stuff. But what I have been doing is affixing the collar to Marvin, and I've got some masking tape on here because what I'm doing is actually getting the Dremel out and grinding the little flange there so it's smooth. That one's done. That's very nice. Just got to do this one, and once it's all done, that's on there solidly, and that would attach to the turntable. And I've got some tin foil tape. And just again check some nice tin foil tape, aluminium tape, which will go around the shoulders and the neck cylinder, but only when I'm good and ready. So talking of tin foil tape, I've been making, as I said, eyepieces for Marvin. So these are 3D printed. Now originally I was going to do, basically let me tell you, they go around here, they go around his eyes like that to highlight them a little bit. The original Marvin has just white tape, like pinstriping tape from a car, but I thought, why the heck not? I'll make them out of 3D printed, there's some gunge on there, make some out of 3D printed shapes, and it'll be a lot more accurate, a lot neater, and they go like that, and one on that side obviously. And what I've also done is I've made two boxes. Basically they go behind, they go inside the head, they got little holes for the LEDs, and this one I've put some of the aforementioned aluminium tape in to help reflect the light. Now I've done a quick test with the LEDs in, and there's not a lot of difference, but I'm going to put tin foil in this one as well, you know, the aluminium foil tape, because it's anything I can do to increase the light bouncing out of the eyes, the better, because Marvin will be seen outdoors quite a lot, and it'd be quite helpful to have as bright a light as possible. So what do they look like? Well, let us show you. I'm going to move the camera down a tad There we go, get closer to the table if possible. Right, now I can see what I'm doing. Okay, he says, dropping things everywhere. Here is Marvin's entire electronics lighting kit. This is not able to be seen. Hi Baz. It is a very nice washing machine, David. It's the cheapest one that Argos do. Anyway, so down here we have the lighting kit. This was made by Tyridium Models. So thank you to them. They've got some big rechargeable batteries in there. And there's an extension on here for Marvin's eye lights. Not a lot of wire there, but I think just enough. So you can't see that, sorry. Just enough to see. Just enough to get the lights into the center of the eyes. Probably be better from behind anyway, from inside. But the lighting kit contains, for the majority of it, you can't turn your phone while live. Shut up, phone. Hi, Alex. Okay, so these are the lights that go in Marvin's chest unit, and they're all color-coded by the wires. But if I switch it on, oh, look at that. They work better when they're pointing directly at the camera, you see. Can the eye light be disconnected to allow you to disconnect the head from the body? Kind of. I'll show you in a second, but basically that's the lights for the chest unit. And weirdly enough, the lights aren't working for the head, but basically, let me switch it off and show you. Okay, so this little green connector here has two holes in it, and they're little tiny, minuscule, microscopic screws in there, where basically you plug in the eye lights. So I broke these wires once and sent them to my friend Jos to fix, because he's an electronics genius and I'm an idiot. So he's fixed it for me. So now these two wires go into the circuit board in the little green connector there, and they light up as a warm yellow light. And so in that way they can be disconnected, but I've got enough length. I've got about 2 foot of wire here, which is fine to go from the eyes, Marvin's eyes, down the neck and into the chest. Hi Chris. So the plan is, right, first I'm going to do, let's connect the eye lights back up with the smallest, where is it, smallest screwdriver in the world. I'm going to put some lights in here. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. I'll try and keep them in camera. So I 3D printed these with little holes so you can see the LEDs through there. I'll just do the one because they're not glued in or anything, and they're only going to pop out. Where is the smallest screwdriver in the world? I've gone and lost it. It's probably upstairs. So, oh, here it is. so small, I didn't see it. So what I'm going to do is take the little green connector here on the circuit board, put the right wire into the right hole. And do you know what? The weird thing about this is they work the other way around. It's clockwise to loosen and anti-clockwise to tighten, which is very weird. Anyway. Just messages. Okay, right, so that black one goes in there. Tighten up by going anti-clockwise, which is weird. Okay, red one goes in there. Tighten that chap up. Now, they're working. They're flickering a bit because I haven't tightened them up properly. But as you can see now, Marvin's eyes, they don't look very yellow on camera, but again, in a dark room, I suppose you will notice them more. But when I put the prismatic and the orange together on top, you do see what's going on there with Marvin's eyes. And if you imagine this whole setup is inside his head, and this would go over the top on the front, you know, it does look a bit nicer. Why 2 light bulbs, you may ask? Because in the TV, from what I've been able to ascertain, is that he's got 2 bulbs in each eye in the TV show, but in the movie he's got something like 5. I think they really, you know, Mike Tucker really went for it and added a load more things. So basically that's what's going on in the eyes. I would love to fit them now, but that's jumping the gun a bit because I do need to do more work on the head, and it doesn't make sense to put some, you know, fragile electronics inside the head, or indeed in the chest unit. It's like Christmas, isn't it? For too soon, before I finish the sanding and the painting and the scratching and the messing around and the hammering and stuff. Now, yeah, so a little bit more work on him, clean up some scratches, clean up some bits that need doing, finish them all off, then work about how to get the eye lights and stuff in there. Now, let's just flip the camera around. We're back. And yes, so, this is not a tripod. I need to get a tripod. So that's what I've been doing with Marvin at the moment, which is admittedly not a lot since the recent news of the tattoo con being cancelled. But let us move on to matters of a Dalek-y nature. Bong. There is Dalek Earl. We're calling him Dalek Earl because he will be grey. Earl Grey. Do you see what I did there? Okay, so it's a standard Dalek fiberglass kit made, I'm reliably told, by a company in Glasgow. Not sure if they do them anymore. Originally he had a bumper around his base which prevented him from getting into my house. I since hacksawed the bumper off and now it's at the bottom of my garden ready to be taken away. It's not very good, and I'm going to be making a new one out of wood, and that'll be fitting the wheels, etc. to it. Let's look a little closer. So, quite a nice fiberglass kit. There's some marks there for the eye slot and a pivot for the eye. There's marks either side for the little lights that go on his head. Obviously he's a bit short. He's missing a neck. Obviously Daleks have neck rings here, and you know, it'll be up about there, so it'll be a bit higher. It's quite nice. It's about 3mm thick fiberglass. So there's the head. Recently, let's try and turn that down a bit. This is the shoulder section which I've been working on. I've trimmed out all the nasty fiberglass rough edges on here and on the bottom of it. Cool thing about fiberglass, it's very strong but very light, but I hate it with a passion. I itch just thinking about it. So I've trimmed off both sides. I've painted the inside grey to make it a little smoother and a little less itchy and scratchy. Yeah. Now what goes in here are wooden rings to basically reinforce it a bit more. Now let's go down to the skirt section where I've actually cut the wooden reinforcements. Okay, so here's your skirt section. Same thing, that it's very wobbly now. It doesn't have a base to it. You will see it wobbles like a jelly. That's where the ring comes in. One ring to rule them all. So basically 9mm plywood. Here's the chap. Turn it round a little bit. This is going to be very tricky to do on camera, but let's try it. That goes there. So that goes slightly inside the shape. It's a little fiddly. Get in there. It's a tight fit, but you'll get the idea. It kind of goes in there. Maybe I'll do it upside down. Let's see if I can do it upside down. Okay. You see what we're doing? You can just about see what we're doing. I might need to adjust this a little bit by the look of it. Anyway, you can see the ring that goes around there. Might need to take a bit off the front of this just so it fits. It sits in really nicely. And basically this gets fiberglassed on the inside all the way around. Same with the other side, same with the shoulder section that I just showed you. And what that does, that adds a lot more stability and strength to it. And then I make another one of these shapes, but bigger, about an inch bigger all the way around. And that's going to have the wheels and everything else connected to it. Now, the classic Daleks, of which this will be, not the golden ones that most of you are used to seeing on TV. I'm going to go pre-1989, so 1970s classic Dalek look in grey, hence the name Earl Grey. The pre-2005 Daleks had a couple of caster wheels on there, and the guy would sit in there and just push it around with his feet, and that's fine if you're in a studio. But since 2005 they decided to motorize the Daleks. Oh look, now that goes on the inside of here at the top to give me extra strength to climb in, and also so I can put a hinge on here. So when I've got a hinge on here, this top section will hinge open to allow me to get in and out, and it'll be a lot stronger. So as I was saying, the motorizing only has been done since 2005. So how do you motorize it? You use an electric wheelchair to motorize it. You basically get an electric wheelchair, preferably a power chair, because they can turn on a dime, etc. And they got the little joystick, and then you strip it down, take everything you can off to reduce weight and size, and you mount it onto the base of the Dalek, and then you bolt that in so you drive around. So stay with me just a second. Lights on in here. Hello peeps. So this is my power chair, which I've got to be very careful. It's got 5 speeds on it, but it's got a little joystick controller here. They're amazing bits of technology. They weigh an absolute ton. This was an eBay purchase. Okay. There we go. So as you can see, it's got an on-off switch. It's got a horn, little hooter. 5 speeds up and down. Obviously, at 1 speed, it travels nice and slowly. Anyone for dodgems? I know these are great fun. Top speed on this is 4 miles an hour, which is surprisingly fast actually. You can get chairs that run at 8 miles an hour, and they don't half shift when they're in Daleks, I'll tell you that. The one thing that's surprising is it runs on 2 12-volt batteries, which are at the back. I don't know if I can turn this around actually. Oop. I can't even turn it by hand, it's that heavy. So down in the back here, that's one of them. 2 massive batteries in there. The entire thing weighs around 40-50 kilos, so it's huge, it's very heavy, and your Dalek is not going to tip over, not when you've got all this weight on it and a person. So what I want to try and show you as well, yep, there we go, yep. Trying to just ruin my kitchen, back a bit, that way a bit. Can't quite see that. There we go. There we go. So down at the front, we have these giant caster wheels which are too big to fit in the Dalek, because as the Dalek gets narrower at the front, these need a lot of a big turning circle. So the plan is to take these off and either replace them with smaller ones or completely cut off the bars at the front and mount the wheels to the new base of the Dalek. So there'll probably just be one caster in the front, to be honest. But as I said, it's an amazing idea. Basically, if you have one of these in your Dalek, if you have one of these in your Dalek, if you run at the lowest speed, it's nice and smooth and sinister kind of thing. They didn't have this in Davros, you know. You should have had one in Davros, because when you watch Davros, he's doing this a lot. But in the 2005 onwards series, the new series, they did indeed have a motorized Davros. Anyway, I'm just going to take this back. Yeah. Go, 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 go. There we go. Okay. So I've got the wheelchair. Better knock that light off just a second. Not made of money. Got the wheelchair. Got the main shell. I've got a couple of other bits. I've got the eye. I've got the gun. They've all got to be fitted. I do have another one of my favourite Lazy Susan bearings, which this is an 18-inch one for the Dalek head. I've got 3 of these on Marvin, one for the head, one for each arm. But these are really cool. I was lucky to get this at a decent price. It didn't cost the earth, so that's going to go into the head. And in the post today was a large package. Yes, it's a rifle. No, it's not a rifle. Again, it came from my friends at Grail Engineering. Watch a man drive mobility chair around kitchen. I know, but I'm looking forward to old age now, if that's how much fun I get to travel around. Let's see if we can put this on the table. Try and move some stuff out of the way. Sorry, Marvin.
Don't mind me, I don't mind being shoved out the way for a much older Dalek.
Okay, so here we are. I've started to cut this open, but I haven't cut it open and looked at it yet. Again, these came from Grail Laser, the people who laser cut all the parts for Marvin's head. And they are based in Cinderford, which isn't too far. It's over the bridge. They laser cut things, weld things, fabricate things, and generally at nice prices, not ridiculously over the top prices for us poor individuals. I'm not a company, I'm not a corporation. I can't pay full whack. And as usual, they've sent me a plank. They sent me a plank, as they did last time. Anything too large, they give you a plank, which is fine, I can use that for stuff. But the reason it's a plank is it keeps the pieces from being bent. And here they are. Again, you can't see. More swords. No, they're not swords. These are in fact collars. You can't quite see at the moment, but basically these are going to be bent and they both go around the Dalek shoulder section. One above the boxes, one below, and they form collars that go all the way around, the bands that go around the thing. There should be 4 here. Yes, there are. They're nicely wrapped, fair play to them. There's a scratch side and a non-scratch side. The edges of these are very sharp. I've got to be careful. I've got to sand these down a little bit. But the sizes, dimensions and specs for these things are from the Project Dalek website, which is the best repository of information for... Why is that so heavy? What's in here? It's probably another piece of wood, actually. Man, I've got wood. Okay. Yeah, it's a block of wood. No. Just to stop the things bending. Any paperwork on here? I guess not. They emailed it all to me. Anyway. So, let's get back onto the Genesis props as ugly painted bands. Yeah, I was... originally I was going to go full Genesis Dalek, which is all Battleship Grey. But I do agree with you, David, it's a shame to paint these lovely brushed aluminium bands a horrible grey. So my plan is to go a little bit deviant with my Dalek, and he's no longer going to be a full Genesis prop. He's going to be a mixture of dark grey and shiny silver. So base will have some silver on it. Skirt will be grey with all the black bobbles, the big black bumps. Grey centre section, silvery bands, silvery slats all the way around, silver neck rings, grey head. So it's going to be sort of alternating silver and grey all the way down, and it's going to look lovely. I noticed a couple of scratches on here, but most of these will be covered by the vertical slats, which I'm going to get CNC cut. I was going to get them cut out of aluminium, but they'd be too expensive. I'll go and get my mate to CNC them out of plastic. A lot of Dalek props do have plastic slats, and they've got to be riveted into place or something. So there we are, top slats, bottom slats. This gap in the middle is for, yeah, it will be sexy, David, it will. Now this is a completely non-canon edition as well. I'm considering, because I'm always thinking about the punter and the fan. So this is the shoulder section, as I said. I'm considering, in between the gun and the plunger arm, they usually have an elliptical plate here. I'm thinking of going octagonal, as I've marked out in pencil, but I might put a hatch here, like a sliding door that goes up or down or whatever, or just a slot, a tiny little slot where people can put their debit cards in and I can run away. No, the slot is basically, if I make a tiny slot, only about 2 inches long, I can get some Dalek Earl, because that's his name, I can get some Dalek Earl stickers and things on cards and pop them out for, you know, for the kids basically. Not for the grown-ups, for the kids. Just so they can pop out and they can take a little souvenir away. And I can have them stored on the inside here and just pop them out every now and again. Or I can even slide the door open and punch them in the belly. Come a bit closer. Have a boxing glove on a spring, you know, doing. That would be hilarious. Or, see, my brain's going like into overdrive now. This slides open. There's all green lights and polycarbonate in there, and you can see rubber animatronic squid, you know, the little brain squid Dalek mutant in there. Oh, bubbling away. How much fun would that be? Oh, suit you. Anyway, let's not get carried away on Flights of Fantasy. You've got to make the thing first. So, the work I've done on the Dalek, and indeed the money I've spent on the Dalek, has been pretty minimal, to be honest. I've managed to get the kit for a decent price, under 300 squids. We do like a mutant squid. I could sculpt and mould one of them, it'd be quite nice. But the time and money I've spent on the Dalek has not impacted Marvin in any way up until last week, where, you know, and where I was rushing to get him finished in time for the tattoo con, which now is not going ahead. But now I can afford to work on both quite steadily. And as I say, Marvin's coming together nicely. I've got a clean garden, which I can eventually store Marvin and possibly the Dalek out there. They won't be out under the elements. They will be covered or, you know, encapsulated in some kind of building. And that is my plan essentially. But again, this week, like I said, apologies for not going doing the standard YouTube video that's all edited, etc. I'll try and rip this off Facebook and then put it onto YouTube anyway. So if you're watching this on YouTube, hello, and apologies for not going live on Tuesday. It'll probably be up on Wednesday. And this is just a kind of introduction to the Dalek, a little bit more of an update on Marvin. And this week I've got to get back to I've got at least 6 or 7 jobs that are urgent and need doing. And I mean, I went to bed this morning at about 4 AM, which is no difference for me. I'm always going to bed when it's daylight, and I have a couple of hours sleep, and I get up early in the morning because the postman wakes me up with laser cut bits of metal, and also to feed the sparrows, of which I have many. I'm watching them now. Oh, giant crow has arrived. Let's see if we can they get scared. They're all very, oh look, they fly away the second I'm going to turn this around. Basically in my garden, let me tell you about my garden. Okay, so here's my garden. The area up the back here is by the garage door. It used to be a garage, but it's not garage anymore. There's a tree stump there, which I just cleaned off yesterday. And we trimmed all the sides here. All this got cleaned off. Brand new lawn kind of thing. I say lawn, it's a right mess. But up in this tree here, I know we've gone into Terry's nature program, but up in this bush here, there is a nest of sparrows. But also in the building next door, that white area in between the guttering and the wall, the sparrows go into there as well. So I got a feeling one of the sparrows is actually leading a double life, and he's going in between his kids and wife there and his kids and wife there. But I do throw down, as you can probably see, bits of bread and muffins, and I've got birdseed, and they come down on a regular basis. Occasionally we get pigeons, occasionally we get crows, sometimes a magpie. Magpies are my favourite bird. Now, I don't know if I can zoom in while we're filming. Oh, I can. Right, see that white thing on top of the wall? That would be along here. That is the skirt section of the fender section of the Dalek, ready to get chucked out when my landlord comes round. So, yeah, I'm going to clean all that back area out. That's where some of my props and stuff will go. They don't fit in the shed. There's no room in the shed for anything. And the second I've turned this camera around, no birds are coming down. I had 3 sparrows and a blackbird earlier on, and some pigeons always turn up. Pigeons are really thick. I put all the food here. I put the food here. Pigeons wander around up here looking for food because that's how thick they are. And let's have a quick zoom in. On top of that pillar, where is it? On top of that pillar is a little container of water which they tend to bath and drink from. Anyway, let's go back to me. Okay, so we've been live. I've given you a brief talk about Dalek and Marvin and the garden. Last thing I want to tell you about is my book, my children's book, Monsters Next Door. The first print run is coming to an end. We've sold almost all of them. I've got about 20 copies left, something like that. Some people are picking them up every day. Someone rings the doorbell and picks up a copy. And people are ordering online. So if you want a copy of that, you can go to Candy Jar Books. Just Google it, you'll find them. My book is called Monsters Next Door, and they're $7.99. Postage and packing is extra. So yes, thanks for watching the live video. Again, I know there's like 3 or 4 of you watching now, but I will get to see more of you watching on the replay, and I'll try and upload this onto Facebook as well. But right now I've got to get back to leaving the fun stuff in the kitchen here, and I've got to get back to the Photoshop stuff, of which it never ends, but I've got to try and make a dent in it somehow. So apologies for not being very sociable, chatting, hanging out, texting people and stuff. I haven't had time to work out. I haven't had time to go for my regular walks to get my steps up. I'm just sitting down and putting on weight and eating, sleeping and working. That's all I'm doing right now. So I'm a wee bit stressed out. So you're lucky you got video at all, to be honest. I didn't want to do this. Anyway, that's said and done. I'm going to bid you farewell, and I will see you all next week, hopefully with another edited video that has logos and music and less waffle. Alrighty? Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, leave a comment. I'll see you soon. Take care now. Bye bye then.